Passion our purpose, profit our pain. I don't want my name to ever be in vain. A life full of substance is the only thing that will remain the same. Millennial Thoughts. Welcome back to another episode of Millennial Thoughts with your girl Alicia. Today I have another guest that will be sharing her experience, Erica, about relocating, but now we're talking about a different reason to relocate, which I don't want to give it away. So y'all just stay tuned so she can share her story. Thank you for joining me today. Hopefully you are doing well and excited to talk about your relocation.
Yes, I'm doing good. And I'm really happy to be here. So thank you for inviting me. But yeah, I'm ready to talk about my relocation.
So first, if you want to just introduce yourself, tell them a little bit about where you moved from and to where, and we can get it started.
Okay, so my name is Erica, and well, I don't know if I should give it away yet, but so I am from Lexington, Kentucky. And so I was born and raised there. And then I lived in Louisville, Kentucky for a little bit. When I was in undergrad, I went to U of L. And and from there, I moved back home for a little bit, and then I ended up going to grad school in West Lafayette, Indiana. So I moved like to the like Midwest, and then after that, I moved back home again to Lexington, and then now I live in Houston, Texas. So I've been kind of like a lot of places, but
Yes, okay. I didn't even know that you moved to West Lafayette. I think I remember that you might have moved, but I didn't know. So that's actually another one that is Midwest. What did you
Mhm.
get your master's in? Like from there?
So I got my bachelor's and my master's in political science. So I studied a lot of like race and ethnicity politics, stuff like that.
Hmm. Oh, okay. So now you can answer your next question. So the reason why you moved to Houston was to
So I moved to Houston for law school, which sounds crazy. I know, like so much school, but yeah. So I decided to go to law school like after the first year of my master's program. I was like, you know what? Because actually, my master's program was a PhD program that was supposed to last 5 years. But after the first year, I was like, I am not about to get a PhD. Like, I'm about to see if they'll just give me a master's if I stay one more year. And they did. And so after that, I was like, I'm about to go to law school and just be done with it from there.
what? So you didn't always want to go to law school?
I did. That's the thing. So
Yeah.
in undergrad, I was in a pre-law track at the University of Louisville, which
Hmm.
is like 2 years, and you can have basically like a paralegal like certification. I did it for a year, but I think I might have did it for a year and a half, but then they ended up like discontinuing the program. I think there just wasn't enough funding for it. So
Hmm.
from there, I kind of like stopped pursuing like law school in a way, like, and I just started focusing more on political science.
Hmm.
And that's what led me to get my bachelor's in political science and my master's in political science. But then, as I was in like the graduate program for poli sci, I was like, you know what, like this is cool, but I need to do what I originally wanted to do, like when I was a freshman or sophomore in undergrad, you know. So
Hmm.
I kind of just was like, let me switch back to the track that I was already on previously. But
Yes, that's so funny. I wanted to go to law school too, but I went to that pre-law thing at the U of L. I said, "Whoo, child, maybe I shouldn't go to law school." But
yeah, it's a lot. It really is a lot.
I know, so I cannot do all that reading, all that stuff. But that's another story for another day. But yes, um, what made you choose Houston?
So my best friend moved to Houston after we graduated undergrad. She moved to Houston and she loved it. I think she lived here maybe 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I had visited her a couple times and I really liked it. And then also I was kind of um, like trying to pick a law school that was like located somewhere that I might want to live when I get done. Because like
Mm-hmm.
basically like, you know, a lot of people will tell you like when you go to law school, like you're gonna have the most connections in that city, depending on what kind of a school you go to, but in that city that you go to school. So I was just like, you know, if I go to law school in Houston, by the time I graduate, I'll probably have a lot of connections here. There's a really good legal market here in Houston. It's not obviously like Chicago, New York, LA, but It's really strong. And so yeah, I was just like, there's a lot of Black professional people there. There's a lot to do. It's a mix of like country and city. So
Mm-hmm.
like those are some of the main reasons that I picked Houston or the University of Houston Law School. So
Did you have any other schools that you were thinking about going to?
yeah, so like my final two that I was trying to decide between were American University, which is in DC,
Mm-hmm.
and here the University of Houston Law Center. And I basically um ended up picking U of H because the cost of living here was like way cheaper than like trying to live in DC. And I think that my school, U of H, has the employment rate is a lot higher than it was at American University when I was like applying for schools. And so those two things kind of made me be like, all right, I'm about to go to Houston. And I was like, and it's warmer in Houston. So
Okay, right. DC is warm.
yeah.
Okay, so I like that you talked about that. So I know a lot of us, like, we move because of schools and we try to figure out what school is going to be best for us. And I like how you thought about the cost of living, but also you brought up a good point because you said that you look at the employment rate. Like, what made you look at that? Like, how do you go about looking at that to see, like, well, I guess for law schools maybe they show it more, maybe they're more
Hmm.
open about it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's definitely true. I think that um so like for one, like you said, law schools kind of like publicizing more. I think that to be accredited by the ABA, I might be lying, but I think they have to like publish that type of information
Mm,
somewhere so that people can see it. And then it's also just something like if it's a really good number, then they're always gonna talk about it. Like
that is true. Yeah, yeah.
so that's one reason that I like was like thinking about that. And then also I kind of felt like so we both went to University of Louisville, and I know a lot of people that went to University in Kentucky in my hometown. And I used to always feel like people from there would like get really good jobs out of undergrad. And I'm just
Mhm.
like, or they would get like super good internships and stuff like that. So I would just be like, I feel like U of L didn't do that good when it came to like making sure that we all had jobs or like
Mhm.
different stuff like that. And even at the school that I'm at now, I feel like they do a lot for their undergrads to make sure that they have
Mhm.
jobs. And so that was just something that I tried to like keep in mind as I was thinking about my next school that I was going to go to. And then also, law school is expensive and it's a lot of debt,
Mhm.
it's a lot of money. So I was like, I need to make sure I can have a job when I get done.
Yeah.
So,
I know I do think about that too since you brought up that point because with my degree, I didn't have to have an internship. I just decided to do an internship. I believe it was like a small internship. But then when I went to like my grad program, I had to do an internship. But I also feel like it depends on how connected you are within the city, like how the schools, there's so many colleges in Louisville as well too.
yeah.
So that could be hard too, but yeah, I do really think that's important. And working in higher education, I'm like, you want to make sure you have internship because then, like, you do try to get all these jobs because you have this degree, and then it bites you in the back because you don't have no experience. So I
Right.
think that's really, really great too. And I do think so because my friend, she's a lawyer too. She went to like a law school in Philadelphia, and I think they do. They be like, 77% of our lawyers get jobs here, or they already have like a in within like where they funnel them through and stuff like that. And people
Yeah.
want good lawyers, so I feel like that's like probably a good marketing tactic that they use as well.
Hmm.
So that probably is good. So were you nervous? You did just say law school was expensive, so you want to have a job to be able to, pay back your loans or do whatever. But were you ever nervous about attending law school out of state and like thinking about how you were going to pay for it, if they gave you any financial assistance or like if they gave scholarships and stuff like that?
Yeah,
How was that?
so there are a lot of opportunities to get financial assistance for law school. Like, obviously there's the FAFSA, but different schools will give you like merit awards. They might give you like, I don't know, just a lot of different stuff. But it largely depends on your LSAT score and then also
Mhm,
like your undergrad GPA, which that's
mhm,
something else to keep in mind if anybody's thinking about going to law school. Like, your grad school GPA really doesn't matter. But they really
mhm,
look at your undergrad GPA. But yeah, so I was nervous about that. And I didn't have like the strongest LSAT score but I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna stress about it. Like, I'm gonna just go for it. And so I basically ended up so I still got an award, like a merit-based award, and they allowed me to pay in-state tuition instead of out-of-state tuition. So I ended up saving me like 14. I think in the end, it's going to end up saving me like 60,000 altogether.
Yes. Oh, that sounds great.
So yeah, I guess that would be like, I don't know, like 15
Mm-hmm.
or 15 to 20 per year because it's 3 years. So
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, that really helped me a lot. But other than that, it's just straight up loans for me. Like that's just my route. A lot of people probably do have like more financial assistance in other ways. I'm not sure. And like, tuition is one thing, but then you also have to pay because I don't work and most law students don't work, especially their first year. So those there's just so many things to think about when it comes to the financial aspect of law school. So like we could have like a whole podcast on that. But it's just yeah. So for me, like they allow me to pay in-state tuition instead of out-of-state tuition, and then I also rely mainly on like student loans. And I wasn't too worried about that because I mean it is a lot of money, but I didn't have to take out any loans for undergrad or my graduate degree. And so, I kind of felt like, whatever, I'll make it work. Hopefully we get some loan forgiveness.
Right, like that's true. Like if I gotta get loans, like this would be like the only one I have to get. That's
Yeah.
good to think about that as well. And I know that was kind of scary. Like, ooh, okay, taking out these loans.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely scary, especially like not doing it until now. Like I was so proud that I was able to like get 2 degrees without any loan, but
hmm That's actually an accomplishment. Like, congratulations. Like, that's amazing. Okay, because I'm
thank
sitting here on
you.
loans. But you did mention something that's interesting that you said that they look at your undergrad more than they look at your grad school.
Hmm.
Just if anybody wants to go to law school, just in general, do you know like what a good range for your GPA should be?
Honestly, it just depends on your school. Like it really
Mm-hmm.
does. But like we were talking about before, how they will like boast like their employment rates. They'll do the same thing for their GPA and LSAT scores. Like it just really depends on the law school that you're trying to go to. But they'll tell you like the average GPA of the previous class that they admitted, and then they'll tell you like the average LSAT score. So I would just say to look to like figure out what schools you're interested in, and then go look from there because it really just depends.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's a good tip, actually. Okay, then, so you are a first year,
I'm a second year.
or second year. Okay, you're almost done. So you're gonna graduate in 2024.
Right.
Okay. Do you work now? I know you're going to your
Um,
first year, but I didn't know if you work
no,
right
I don't work now. I would be open to it. I was
now.
thinking about like trying to find a little part-time job at like a law firm. That's what a lot of people do. They'll work in law firms part-time. Your first year you shouldn't work, but your second year you can work. I just haven't found anything for me yet, really. And then I'll be like, I'm kind of lazy. Not lazy, but
Yeah.
I'll just be like, it has to be worth it if it's gonna take me away from like my school stuff. So
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah, like it's joy not working. You got to work for the rest of our life. Like if I could just do school without working,
right.
what do I have to do? So I ain't telling you, I'm loving it for you. Just soft life as much as soft life is as going to law school is.
Yeah, bro. I don't feel like
um,
I'm no part of South Life.
yes, I don't know about that one. But so since you moved so far, so you already did move once for grad school, but since you moved so far to Texas, which from Kentucky is like a long way, to
Yeah.
me. But do you find that your family and friends was supportive of your move, or do you find like they were like not as supportive?
I think they were all extremely supportive, like everybody. My dad didn't want me to go, and I think my brother probably didn't want me to go, but they're still supportive. My mom, my aunts, my uncles, like they're all like were super
Mm-hmm.
supportive. And they've all come to visit me at least once. Some of them have come more
Oh,
than once. So
good.
yeah, it's been like I have like a really, really supportive family and like a really strong support system. So yeah, I feel like they all were supportive, but it's definitely long. It's 15 hours.
Yes.
They all came, drove me down, moved me in, stayed with me for a few days when I first moved here. And it's been taking some time to get used to being so far away because like I don't literally know anyone here. Like when I moved, I didn't know anyone. I've met a few people, and I guess that's some of your questions we'll talk about later. But yeah, so it has taken time to adjust to not having any family around me, like that I can
Mm-hmm.
drive to within like an hour or a few hours. So
Yeah, I know. I was like, that's probably really different than being where you were at for grad school. So that's what I was wondering.
yeah.
Do you fly back a lot though?
I do every now and then. I have a niece who's 4 years old, and me and her are
Oh.
super close, and so I always miss her like a lot. And I try to fly back home. Throughout the semester, I usually don't, I probably go once during the
Mhm.
semester in the fall, but some of them will come and see me. And then in the summer, I try to go like twice. And then in the spring, I'll try to go maybe during my spring break or something. But yeah, I just go whenever I have free time, like I'll go.
Mhm. Okay, that's good. Then. So you feel like you have that support. That's good. A strong support system when you're at school and when you relocate. Anyways, is definitely good.
Hmm.
I really like that you have a great support system. So now we're going to switch it to your school. Like, do you feel like your law school is supportive? Do you feel like you have supportive? I don't know what they're called in law school. Law mates, like, I mean, just like
Oh
people
yeah,
that you like help
just
support you.
classmates.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I think that I really like my school. There's a lot of resources here.
Hmm.
And our faculty are amazing. I feel like they're so smart. And you can just tell that they really know what they're doing for the most part. I really like that about it. I think that the staff, so you know how like there's the people that work in like the offices, like,
Hmm.
you know, they're cool, but but yeah, I definitely really like the faculty, and I think as far as my classmates, the school so there's not a lot of black people in law school generally, just because it's like law school and there's just a really low number of black attorneys and all that. But I think that our school is trying to get better about that, and overall, like I feel like I have met some good people, like just as far as my classmates go, and I've been able to start creating like some relationships. But it's just hard because I think that the nature of law students, a lot of us are introverts, and
Hmm.
so it's just like a whole bunch of introverts in one area, like, and we all got a ton of classes to study for and stuff. So it can be a little secluding at times, just because that's just the nature of like trying to understand everything that we're being taught. Like you kind of have to like sit down by yourself and really focus on what it is. So there's times when it can feel secluded and everyone's in their own little corner, but you know, you just have to find ways to put yourself out there and meet people and network and stuff.
Okay. Well, that's good that you said like you feel like your faculty is supportive.
Yeah.
Um, do you feel like well, you're saying that it's not like that many African Americans in law school, but do you feel like I don't know, like do they have organizations like the law school? I mean, I guess the school like do they have organizations for like black students or even like any minorities or something like that, or do you feel like it's just like kind of like what you're saying like oh you just really like kind of study you kind of make friends and stuff like that on your own, or do they have that?
No, there's like definitely a lot of student organizations here at my law school, whether it's like so organizations, there's like a lot that are like based in like identity. So there's like Asian law students or
Hmm.
Latino, then there's the Black Law Students Association, which I'm really involved in that. Um but yeah, there's a lot of different organizations that you can get involved in, and then they also have organizations that are based on like what practice area that you're interested in going into.
Hmm.
So there might be like a criminal law or like a public interest, or if you're interested in like corporate law, like
Hmm.
there's student organizations for all of those. So there's a lot of opportunities like that, I think, where we get our social needs and and we get to network at the same time. So yeah, there's a lot of those opportunities.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, that is really good actually. So I know earlier you were talking about how you were like visiting Houston and stuff like that because your friends stayed there. Do you feel like you still like the city that your school is in, or do you feel like I kind of just like the law school more than I really like the city?
I feel like because I'm in law school, I haven't like experienced a ton of Houston because I'm spending so much time studying. But what I have experienced, I like it. I really think Houston is a good mix of city and country vibes. And I think it's definitely a place that I could see myself staying after I get done with graduate school.
Hmm.
Um, like if I get a job here, I would love to stay here, and I think I'll be happy here. But I'm also open to going somewhere else if the wind blows me, somewhere else. But I would like to stay here though.
Okay. Oh yeah, you said a mix of city and country. So that's funny because I know
Mhm.
Lexington is very much more country than Louisville. And then where else did you go? What's the city that you went into after you said you moved?
Oh, I went to West Lafayette, Indiana. Like it's Midwest, like it's
Yeah,
super
that's
country.
country, right? Like real country.
Yeah, yeah, very rural.
So are you leaning more towards the city life or the country life?
I don't know. I'm like, I think city life, but then I'm also like, when I start having kids or something, I really like the country life. But I'm like, maybe that's just because I'm from the country. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like that's everybody like. Oh yeah, I do like the city. Like if I have kids, like I want to move out, have land, do everything like that. I'm like, oh, city life, country life, like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's like a mixture of it. And so I feel like, because I don't feel like Louisville was country at all, but I feel like we were always, it was like kind of like a box in because, well, when I say Louisville, I'm talking about like when we went to school, like University of Louisville mainly, not like the whole city. But of course, where I moved from, it was way more countryer. So
Mm-hmm.
then it's like, okay, then you go to another city, like I'm in Atlanta, it's very much more city, but it's still kind of country. So it's funny that you say like it's
Right.
a mix of country and city. When I went there, it looked like a lot of city to me, but there's South Side and stuff like that.
Well,
Um,
and then I think when I think about country too, I think about the people and just like how people act, like not just
mm,
So I think all that because I'm like, yes, it's Houston, but I'm like at the end of the day, like we still in Texas, like
yeah,
the South.
yeah.
So it has a lot of
Okay, I
those
see what
vibes.
you're
Like I'm planning on going to rodeo next month, so
saying.
we'll, it's just stuff like that.
Okay, you're talking about like more like lifestyle, not even like I was
Yes,
thinking more like landscape, but you're even talking about like the people and stuff like
yes,
that.
exactly, exactly.
Oh, okay. So did that take you a while to get adjusted to, like living in Texas?
Not at all. I feel like I feel like it's not at all. Like it was super easy.
Oh, okay, okay. And so that you said that you're there for your second year, we're getting kind of into like the community building and stuff like that. So I know you have like the law school. I know you have like friends from that. Do you feel like you have made any connections outside of being in school, or do you feel like all your connections have like kind of been through school?
So most of my connections have been through school, like the people that I talk to on a daily. But I'd say like one of the girls that I hang out with the most, and she moved here the same time that I moved here, but we didn't really hang out my first year because I was like so in the books. But I'm starting to develop a stronger community that's like outside of law school. One of my line sisters from U of L actually just moved here this weekend.
Hmm.
Um, and so it's taking some time, but I feel like, it's kind of hard because I spend so much time at school and studying that I don't really get to hang out with people.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I feel like I'm starting to develop a stronger community outside of school because that's important. Like having a community within school is cool, but it's like we all study all day, so makes that a little hard.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But that's cool though. So do you feel like you're like adjusted to Houston now? Do you feel like you're comfortable, or do you feel like you're still kind of in between?
No, I feel pretty comfortable with it now. Yeah, I think the hardest part for me has just been like being away from family. That's something that I'm still trying to like adjust to. But other than that, I feel pretty good with like the, relocation and being in a new place, being
Hmm.
in a new like school. Like I feel like I've adjusted to all of that and I'm really I feel like I've recently kind of have started to feel that way.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, how long do you feel like it has taken you? So you feel like 2 years?
Yeah, it took me, which is some time. Last summer I wasn't here. I was gone the whole summer. So, but yeah, it definitely took some time because I think getting used to Houston and Texas was really quick and easy, but I think getting used to being in law school is what took way longer. But I
Mm.
finally feel like I'm at a comfortable place in law school. So,
Okay, okay. Well, that's really good. I like that. So trying to think about relocating, how you were talking about driving, 15 hours is definitely a long time. So I kind of want to go into that part, bring it back to like, okay, how was that? Like, did you drive all 15 hours? Did you stop? Like, how was that
mhm.
drive?
So basically, it was me, my uncle and his girlfriend, my grandmother, my brother, and one of my little cousins, my uncle's son. And so we all drove it together. We had two cars, and because I had an apartment at home, and so I didn't want to have to like rebuy everything.
Okay.
But I did bring some stuff with me. So like, yeah, we drove it the whole way. I drove. Me and my granny was in one car,
Mm-hmm.
and me and her just like took turns driving. And then my uncle drove the car that had all my stuff in it, the truck that had all my stuff in it. And yeah, we drove the whole 15 hours. We didn't
15
stop. Well,
hours.
we stopped for like breaks, like to use the
Hmm.
bathroom or something, but we didn't like stop and stay the night anywhere. We just drove it straight.
What? Y'all was driving in the dark and everything? Woo!
Yeah, we left really late. So yeah, we left at, I can't even remember what time we left, but it was definitely dark. But my family, like, we take a lot of road trips because it's like
Mhm.
a lot of us. And we always do like a family vacation in the summers, usually to Florida. So, you know, that's around 12
Oh.
hours
Mhm.
anyway. So we're really used to like driving like that.
Okay, yeah, that's not that bad if you're always used to road trips and stuff like that. Yeah, Florida could be a long time. I remember I went to PCB. Who that was like 12 hours. I was like, "Whoo, child, oh my gosh."
Right.
But okay, that's good. And so, when you relocated, like, so you drove down here and everything like that, how was the apartment hunting? Like, did you look at apartments before you got down here? Did like, I don't know, your faculty and people, like, did they help you find apartments? Or you kind of just like did the search on your own?
Yeah, so the staff sent us like a few, I don't even remember. It wasn't helpful,
Oh.
but they like they sent us some stuff. It really, it wasn't like, not for me anyway. It might have helped some other students, but it really wasn't that helpful for me. I had flew down to Houston twice, and after the second time I was like, I'm not flying down here anymore. Like, I still hadn't found anything. I was like, I'm gonna just look online and try to find something. And so I was able to find something. I had like basically booked it, not booked it. What do you call it? Like, applied and got
Oh,
accepted, all that. And I hadn't even seen it or
you
anything.
did it
So
online? Oh my gosh.
yeah, I hadn't even seen it. I was like, I'm gonna have to just go with it because it was just getting really close, and I just still hadn't found anything. And rent prices was like going up because it was like getting closer and closer to my move-in date. So I
Mhm.
was just like, I'm about to just pick something and go with it.
Oh my goodness, you was not nervous about not doing it?
I was really nervous about it, but I kind of was just like, what else am I gonna do? Because I'm not gonna keep flying to Houston and
Okay,
can't
because
find
that could be
anything.
expensive too. So you
Exactly.
started law school during the pandemic?
Yeah, I did. I started in 2021.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Kind of like after. Okay, I see what you're saying. So, because like sometimes they like don't let you come see and different things like that. So that's what I was asking. So, when you got down there though, everything was good. Like you liked your apartment and everything like that, or did you end up moving to another apartment after?
No, I still live in the same place that I lived in when I first moved. So
Okay, so that was good.
it worked out.
Okay, and like a ballpark, you don't have to give me like exactly how much, but a ballpark, how much do you feel like it took you, like you spent to relocate from
Oh, let me think.
Kentucky to
Um,
Texas?
I mean, not including like application fees and all the normal stuff for apartments, just like renting trucks and moving
Mm-hmm.
that and gas. Maybe like, dang, I can't even remember. I don't want to lie. Like, I think because the rental car, it probably cost me like 800, 5 to 800, which I mean, it wasn't too much. I had a lot of help. So, like, I rented a car and then I had to like load it all up, but I didn't need movers or anything because I had my uncles and my brother, like, they were all really helpful.
Oh, that's
And
really
then I
good.
just had to pay for gas the whole way down here, for my car and then the truck that my uncle was driving. So,
Mhm.
I mean, it really wasn't too expensive. Um, I mean that is expensive, but I was working at the
Yeah.
time. I had two jobs when
Oh,
I was in before I moved. So
you was
like,
hustling.
yeah, so I was getting my graduate degree. That May 21 is when I graduated
Mm-hmm.
with my degree in my master's. And so
Mm-hmm.
while I was doing that, I was a TA and they were paying me for that. And then I also had a part-time job working in a hotel. So I was getting paid for both of those while I was like
Okay.
applying for law schools and getting ready for my big move and everything. And then that summer after I graduated with my master's is when I moved to Houston. So,
Okay, I
so
see what you're
yeah.
saying. Yeah, that wasn't that bad. I thought it was gonna be way more than that, but
Mm-mm.
okay, because like some people, but that's good also to show like you had support, you had help, like you didn't have to do all the moving and stuff like that. So that also shows too. So if you have support, definitely lean on your support.
Yeah.
Um, and this is just like a ballpark range because I probably know it's changed because it's about to be 2023, and they just want to up everything. But if
Right.
somebody was thinking about relocating to Houston, what do you think, like maybe like a ballpark of a range? How much do you think it would be for like a one bedroom, one bathroom,
So I think
like they should have?
I think you're not gonna find a one bedroom that is like that you feel like 1,300 at least is what I think. And like finding something that's like 1,300 is going to be very very hard. Like it's really probably going to be like at least like 1,350 to 1,380. Like rent is so expensive right now. Like it's crazy.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's how much I'd say a one bedroom is. Obviously, you're gonna have to pay like application fee, deposits, all of that. So I mean, you probably gonna need just for your apartment alone, like not even like moving and driving here or flying here, whatever. Just for the apartment, I'd say you should probably have like 2,000. Like like it's really expensive, at
Mhm.
least 2,000, and that's like on the really really cheap side. Um, if you do get like the roommate, if you go like the roommate route, you can find way more cheaper options. Like if you room with somebody, there's like groups where you can find people who's looking for roommates and stuff like that. And like if you do it that way, you could probably find somewhere that's decent for like 900, but you'd have a roommate. It's like you wouldn't be by yourself.
Mhm.
Um,
Are you
but yeah,
team roommate or no roommate?
huh?
Are you team roommate or no roommate? That's what I'm saying.
Girl, I'm team no roommate, but the way that this rent and stuff is looking, and I know they're gonna try to increase mine. Like my lease isn't up until September though, but I'm like I might have to get me a roommate for my last year law school, but I don't know. We'll see. But I'm definitely team no roommate, just because I'm like super like weird.
And that's so crazy. Like that's why I hear like they're making it so expensive to actually have roommates, and they're like, they're like, Alicia, you should look into Houston. I'm like, Houston is as expensive as Atlanta. Like it's getting really expensive. Like it's like Atlanta, just a little bit under. So I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
not
and I
gonna
will
afford
say
it.
in Houston, it's like I live inside of the loop, so like, I don't know if people know like the Houston map, but there's like a really big loop that if you live inside of, you're basically like central to a lot of stuff. But if you move like further out of that loop and you move to like
Mm-hmm.
maybe the suburbs or just further out, you can find stuff that's a little cheaper, but you're gonna be way further. Like if you go to UH or if you're trying to get to downtown or a lot of the places where people go out, like you'll just be further and you'll have to deal with way more traffic and stuff, but you'll save on your rent. So
Mm-hmm.
it just depends like where you're trying to live exactly. So
Oh yeah, that was part of like that's part of my question too. So like, did you have any non-negotiables when it came to looking for an apartment?
girl, not really. I wanted to just be safe, and not have no bugs, and other than that I was like I'm not like being too picky.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I didn't really have a ton of like I'm not a real high maintenance person.
You're not like too picky, but safety is really important. And so, some people are looking for like parking garages, some people are looking for like gates and stuff like that. Not well, yeah, like gates or whatever, like closing gates and stuff like that. So that's what I was wondering. But
Well, the thing
also,
is, like, there's so many apartments here that I would look at, and they would have gates and parking garages and all that, and their cars still end up getting broken into here. So that's why I was just like, you know what?
or guess what, the gate don't even close. It's like, what am I paying for?
I don't know why, like, it would be
Like it's
like
always
that.
open. Like what? So yeah. Okay, then that's good. Yeah. So I think that that's important. Well, safety is definitely important, but that is true. Even up in Atlanta, the Buckhead, but that's where everybody be going to break it in and stuff like that. I'm like, nope, I don't even want to be up there because I'm not trying to get nothing broken into, even though I don't got
Hmm.
nothing. So yes. But as we wrap it up, I just have a couple of questions. What are some tips or advice that you would give to someone who is relocating, and maybe specifically thinking about like someone who's relocating for school, grad school, law school, medical school, whatever.
Um, so if you're thinking about relocating for school, I would say definitely talk to like people who have already like been through that process and ask them because that's where I got the most helpful advice. So like if you're thinking about relocating for grad school, like talk to someone who went to grad school in that program that you're going for, or like law school, talk to someone who already went to law school, like stuff like that. I'd say if you are relocating for law school, like pick a school that is either like top 10 or whatever, so it doesn't matter where it's located, or if you're going to go to a lower ranked school, like pick a school that is in a city that you might want to live in afterward because you'll have the most connections there. I'd say save money, work if you can, save as much money as possible. And just don't be afraid, don't quit on it because I mean it does get hard at times, especially if you're moving very far away from your family like I did. Like it can be really difficult. um but yeah, just stay with it and know why you're doing it. you know, have those like serious conversations with yourself about like setting goals, like why am I doing this, like, you know, just that type of stuff, and just try to think everything through. And you know, you just kind of got to take that leap and do it. And yeah.
Oh, well, that's great. I love that. And so, do you feel like it was worth it to relocate to Atlanta, to Houston for law school?
Yes, I do. I think it was worth it. I be thinking like, so I had basically like a full ride to UK. Like I could have went to law school for free there, and I'd be like, oh, should I have went there? But I was just like, I'm like, if I stay at home, I'm not gonna like, I'm gonna limit myself just as far as like my thinking, my life experiences. So I was like, I have to go somewhere else. But you know,
I would have to take that free flight. But
girl,
then there's you, like, do you want to live in Lexington for the rest of your life? So.
yeah, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Thank you so much for being a part of the relocation series. Hopefully something resonated with you all. If you all know, your cousins, your nieces, your nephews, if they are looking to relocate for school, make sure you share this episode with them, and also share with other people who may have already relocated. Maybe they can relate and share it with someone they know as well. So thank you all for listening. Thank you for being a part, Erica, and stay tuned for the next relocation episode.